The Philippines has a 7 million backlog of houses.
Really?
Yeah, Indonesia also in Brazil. That's our target. Those three.
So you mean there is actually 7 million
Back-
orders of houses right now that they can't build because there's a shortage of
Yes.
supplies?
Yeah, shortage of how we do things.
Not shortage of supply, but shortage of labor?
So we can only build 140,000 houses per year statistically.
Today, I'm really excited to have JP Calma with me. I met JP recently when we were in Japan touring some properties. I know JP through his brother, Carlo Calma. And Carlo and JP come from a very prominent architecture family in the Philippines, actually, probably the most famous architecture family. So thanks for coming on. It's a pleasure to have you. I'm actually
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to answer any of your questions. Keep it authentic.
Yeah.
And for the viewers to learn what I'm doing. So I started working in construction for my father as I was 16. So building houses and hotels. I stayed there for a good 20 years. Then I made the company grow.
Yeah.
I went to MIT in between there, but they couldn't implement any of the ideas that were going on there. Back then, we were talking about mass customization already.
Okay.
So then 10 years went by, and then COVID was my opportunity to attempt to solve the problems that we have, quality and productivity. Yeah.
What got you interested in architecture? Was it
No,
because of your family?
It's actually, I think of it as a built environment, not really architecture.
Okay.
It's a cohesive system of design, engineering, and production.
Okay.
And all that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think of
So
it that way.
it's the building blocks that go into
Yes, everything.
architecture.
Yes.
Right.
All complete.
Right.
Yeah.
So your family are all architects?
Most of my cousins, yeah.
You have Ed Calma, you have JP.
I have Carlo, his brother Jerry,
Uh-huh.
and all my nieces are architects.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then I have a cousin who's a builder also, JJ.
Uh-huh.
And that's it.
In the Philippines family, when you come from a family like that, and I notice a lot of Filipino families, the kids tend to kind of follow in the family footstep. Like if you have like a family of doctors, everyone becomes doctors. If you have a family of dentists, everyone becomes dentists. Did you feel that pressure?
Yes. Because in the dinner table, the culture was the meetings of the problems of the job site.
Right.
Yeah. So you get that kind of tension and the problem that's going on. And as a kid, you want to help, you want to contribute to that.
Yeah.
Right. And then you see your father experiencing stress. So you want to be a good son and carry that load.
Yeah.
That's a general goes for any applies to all. I think there's a trail of wisdom being passed on to generation.
Right.
You just have to remodel it more relevant, that wisdom, what was carved in the past.
Right. Yeah. So did your parents, so you did you feel a strong pressure? Did you want to do something different though?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing since COVID, but yeah.
But it's still different, but it's still kind of related to their industry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So did you get pushback from your parents when you didn't or your family when you didn't become an architect like them?
I think I already proven myself having the construction company and completed a lot of projects.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think no.
No. They can't give you the free reins.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, that's interesting. So I know Carlo pretty well, right? I know him. I mean, I wouldn't say I know him like really well, but like I'm just dying to ask you what it was like, growing up with Carlo and being growing up as kids with.
It was always creative.
Yeah.
Sometimes he would do my creative assignments.
Oh yeah. So he's always an artist.
He would never run out of ideas.
Yeah. I've actually I visited I saw the outside of your house, but I visited his house. And he's super eccentric and he has all these like really weird artwork all over his house. And the funny thing is, JP lives next to Carlo and parents live in another house and the parents' houses.
And my cousin also lives beside my dad.
Right.
So we're all together.
You're all together, like separate houses. And then, your dad's house is beautiful, right? Just this amazing architecture, And so I'm just kind of curious what it was like growing up together.
Of course, any siblings with there's a fight, of course, right? Of course, we know each other's vulnerabilities, issues. Then we saw each other mature through the years. He became what he wanted. Yeah, we
Yeah.
all supported. We pushed him to study abroad from since he was teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to stay here to help my father, so I did local college here.
So,
So
Carlo went to London, right?
he went to San Francisco first,
Oh, he went to San
and
Francisco.
then to AA in London.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to stay here and help out. Then I went to abroad after when he went back. Yeah,
Really? And then the first school you went abroad was MIT.
yeah, yeah.
My sister went to MIT. I visited that campus.
Mm.
That is a ridiculously hard school to get into. Was it hard for you
Well,
coming from the Philippines?
we were just five Filipinos there, so I didn't want to let our country down. So I had to always be on top of my answers. So
I actually attended a class at MIT before. A few classes actually. I was just like, holy cow! Like these kids were like weren't even taking notes. Like,
no, but the real smart people are there.
Yeah.
You know why they're smart?
Why?
Because they find it so easy.
Yeah, yeah. I was in this class and they were lecturing about, they were writing out formula for water flow through pipes and everything like this. And like, it was an engineering class. And there was guys just like sitting there, like just doing this and not taking any notes. I'm like, holy shit, these guys are really smart. And they were like participating in class and everything.
Very natural, very natural.
Yeah, some of the smartest people you'll meet.
If you're trying hard, they're not smart. If you're trying hard, I was trying hard.
Yeah, I know. Man, that is a tough school. My sister went to my sister went to MIT undergraduate and then Caltech graduate. And she graduated Caltech around the same time I graduated from my undergraduate at USC. And she's younger than me. And she wasn't like super smart, but she was a super hard worker, and she was studied day and night. And she chose two of the most technical, difficult colleges in the U.S. So I have a lot of respect for that. So when you told me you went to MIT, I'm like, okay, you must know what you're talking about. So you went to MIT.
I'm at Purdue now.
Oh, you're okay.
Yeah,
so you're at Purdue.
Third year.
When you're in Cambridge.
Yeah, Cambridge.
Great campus. Great college community too. Like Harvard's next to that university. So so you come back and then you started doing construction projects.
Yeah.
Like tell us about that. Like tell us some of the stuff that what was some of the interesting projects that you worked on?
I did Manila Hotel.
Okay.
Yeah, the renovation.
Okay.
Then Cirque du Soleil.
Okay.
Diamond Hotel.
Okay.
We did all the Shangri-La here.
Oh,
the
really?
Interiors, yeah.
Just the interiors?
Okay. We don't really do buildings. We do interiors and big houses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
but it's massive interior packages.
Okay, so you're doing all the finishing work.
Yeah.
Not the structure.
Yeah, the intricate stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like the fancy stuff.
Fancy stuff. That's why our culture is in the quality.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I got frustrated on quality because
you have a hard time sourcing quality materials.
Dad, people are naturally stupid. You know.
No, I know what you mean.
You know, quality is about statistical control.
Okay.
Okay. Wait. Quality is about statistical control.
Okay. Explain this.
Only a machine can do that. To have day in day out specific output.
Right. Where there's not a big deviation from what you're like supposed to do, basically.
So we're practically doing hotels, like 5-star hotels, and they're relying on people's hands. So
that's
right?
Man.
So it's a headache, right? It's a mountain that you can't finish.
Dude, I want to ask you more about this.
That's why when I finish my project, I don't want to look at them.
Because you can see all the mistakes, right?
Yeah. So, honestly, personally, I don't want to look at them.
But then how do you make sure that the quality turns out well? Enough for the show.
Well, of course, the clients will also accept it already on their standard. But for me, I can see the nuances. It's not acceptable to me.
Right.
That's why I'm doing this new stuff to eliminate that. Yeah.
I want to ask you about this because I've renovated. So I renovated about. I haven't done as big as project as you. Okay, nothing like you, but like I've renovated about 13 or 14 houses, and I did one apartment renovation here in Manila and two offices. And it was always so nerve wracking for me because I remember when I was building my first office, I come in and they're putting in the logo. The logo's crooked.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what a leveler is?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I literally took a leveler and a ruler and kind of spaced it out and drew it out for them. And then I come back. If I leave for 1 minute, I come back and they're painting the corners. There's no tape, it's just, it's sloppy. And it's just like, there's so much bad work here.
Yes.
Like, I can't imagine how frustrating it is to go through that. And right.
Yeah.
And everywhere I go, I can spot the nuances now because I've done so many of them. Here, I can spot so many things. Don't knock on your T. I know you rented this place recently. You did a great job for the time you have. But I'm looking around like, oh my God, I would change this. I would change this. I'm like, look at the water.
Yeah. I'm looking for a word. The negative word. The job sites is really one of the ugliest thing the world has produced. Have you seen the job site? It's so much a mess,
bad.
right?
Yeah, it's bad.
It's bad. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's worse here because like you'll know when you have a good construction team. Every day they keep things organized and everything. When they finish, they clean up.
Yeah.
And it's neat. And then you'll notice a other construction team. You come back and it's a mess. There's wet concrete, buckets and like it's like, oh man, this is bad.
So that's why my motivation is to just assemble it. No craft.
Okay,
that's my thing.
So don't really. So that was the motivation of what you were trying to do.
Yes, yeah. All the headaches of the past will be deleted.
I love that. Yeah. Fuck, dude. I can't tell you how much it's nerve wracking. Like they did a podcast recently with these guys who were investing in Surigao. And I was like, shoot, I've always wanted to invest in, resort, but unless I'm actually there full time, I'm not doing it. I'm not building it. I'm not building anything remotely here in the Philippines. And it's bad everywhere in the world, JP. It's not just here. Right. But it's just more so here that the skills drop off significantly. I think there's just a lot more bad and a fewer amount of good people. Right.
Yeah. The way I want to do things. Have you played with, when you were young, Tamiya race car?
No. What's that?
Like a remote control car that there's a installation plan, assembly plan that you just assemble toys.
So it's like a Lego thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I want to do in houses. Just like just an assembly plan.
So now they have a lot of technology coming out, right? It's not technology, but like, we've been talking about manufactured houses for so long now, right? In fact, in the States, and we talk about this affordability housing crisis. It costs a lot to build, especially when inflation hit and COVID hit and inflation hit, all the materials went up through the roof. And it almost didn't make sense in a lot of cases to build, new anymore, right? A lot of people were holding off. And so, we've been talking forever about like manufacturing houses. Now in the States, you can order a house on Amazon and they'll ship it and then you'll unfold the walls and things like that. And more in the States too now, like when you go and you want to renovate your house, like products are becoming more and more cookie cutter, right? No one's using real wood floors anymore, right? They're using vinyl floors.
In Tokyo, the entire bathroom is plug and play.
Yes.
That's in a building.
Yes. Yeah. You noticed that, right? I mean, we actually toured a bunch of properties in Japan and Tokyo together. And the kitchen and the bathroom is pretty much plug in, right? And it's all standardized. At first, I was like kind of weird by it because I'm used to like, constructing the doing the waterproofing in the shower and then putting the tiles in one by one, and it's kind of it looks nice. There's a bit of a artistic touch to it, but this was kind of just when I saw this in Japan, I'm like, wow, this just makes sense, right? The time you cut
Yeah.
down on it.
So the difference of what I'm trying to do is include all the parts makers in our flow, so that the outcomes of designs are have many landing points. Because when you're doing prefab houses, the way that's being done now is they just plug and play. It's ready made everything.
Yeah.
Wherein us, we want the parts to scatter through communities, parts makers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then we're making an AI. Then you take a picture of a house, it gives you the parts that you need.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. So that's where the AI can plug.
Yes.
Tell us, wait, before we go any further, I
Yeah,
think
please.
it's time we talk
Yes,
about
yes,
what
yes.
you're working on right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah,
Can
yeah.
you talk about that first, and then we can have a little more context?
Sure. I'm trying to legalize everything, right? The difference is I want the legalized ecosystem to include the community, including their printers.
Oh, I see.
Right.
Okay.
So that all the products out there will be integrated into any build flow.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you take a picture of any house, it gives you the parts that you need of the community. Yeah, it's decentralized manufacturing.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a pull concept, not a push. A push means you have to stock a lot in order to generate an outcome. A pull, it just configures what parts are available.
Okay.
And then it just configures what the outcome could be.
Right.
So there's many outcomes, possibilities.
Right. So you
Yeah.
can still customize it. So it's not
we're done that. We're done after. We're done with that. We're going for mass complexity.
What do you mean?
So the reason before it's customized because designers top down they think of a design and then they implement that ideally because the materials follow their idea. No,
Right.
so ours is bottom up. So depends on the population of parts, and then there's lots of outcomes pathways of whole houses that can be drawn from that population, and then from that population of generation you can pick what you like, and it's all different.
Okay.
That's mass complexity.
Huh.
So why do you need customization if there's millions of generations to choose from just for you?
So it's not.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is not customized, but it creates sort of like-
Complexity.
what's the
like
complexity between customization and complexity? What's the clear difference between the two?
Complexity is it's ready made, but it's still unique.
I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's still one of a kind.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it feels like customized, but it's
But-
not. It's
yes.
standardized, and
Yes.
it's all part of the process,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
There's
Yes.
a production of it,
Yes.
right? And it's not completely automated because it relies on the community to kind of
Yes.
And the community are the builders of like this part
Part
or that
manufacturer.
part,
Yes.
right?
Yes. The formal and informal community, both. Some are big door manufacturers, some are small 3D printing shops.
Yeah.
But I'm not there yet. So what I did is I'm still building that ecosystem. So we initiated the ecosystem by offering some ready-made houses meanwhile, waiting for that occurrence to happen. So we have 45 models that's available in retail. Using our parts initially.
Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously you have to start off very simple, right?
We have also simple models.
Okay.
We also have complex models.
So I thought so the name is
Homecube.
homecube, right?
Yeah.
I thought homecube was just kind of like the structure,
It starts there.
right?
It starts there. Yes.
Okay, so it always starts with the structure. So you have a foundation built, then you have the
Yes.
structure that's kind of legalized,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
And so this structure, can you talk a little bit about that? What's the difference with this structure and the standard typical structure?
The standard typical structure is reinforced cement and steel
Right.
in Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
So we're using GFRP for our steel, for our columns.
Okay.
And fiber metal laminates for our colors. And GFRC for our foundations. These are all composites.
Okay.
Composites. So think about composites.
So it's not metal.
We have some metal fillings.
Okay.
Yeah, not pure metal.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's like a mix of
Yes.
like plastic, metal,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
it's lighter.
Yes. Lighter and stronger and can withstand 310 kph winds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it cheaper?
Just the same,
Just
but
the
it's
same.
faster.
Okay.
Of course, through time, we'll make it cheaper, right?
Okay.
As we increase production, as we buy more machines,
Right.
all technology will become cheaper through time. That's the behavior of any And,
Now, is it a part that the contractors, the people, the builders on site can customize themselves? Like, is it like, for example, one entire beam and they cut it down? Or is it like made to
okay.
order? You specify the size exactly and it comes
No,
exactly
no. We just
that
play with the
piece.
parts that we have.
Okay.
So a strategy is to increase the parts population. Yeah.
What do you mean?
The more parts that we produce, the more it can generate complexity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
different combinations of
Yes.
parts,
Yes.
right? So it's not something they take and they cut like
Yes.
laminate
Yes.
floors,
Yes.
right? You think it's like you cut them
Yes.
and you actually piece them together,
Yes.
right? So this isn't like that. You don't cut it.
No,
You
cut it.
just have a combination of
Yes.
stuff.
And bolt it normally.
Right.
Bolt, screw. Yeah. Systems engineering is already been applied in smaller stuff like toilets, like refrigerators, right?
Right.
And then appliances.
Right.
Just making it bigger, modules into
Right.
roofs, into rooms, into whatever's inside the house, a pool.
Right. Do you ever see this as becoming, obviously, when the bigger scale you get to, the lower the cost, correct?
Yeah.
This is something like that,
Yeah.
right? Does this kind of help with the affordability of
Yes.
building,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
If you're saving a lot of time, you're saving a lot of
Yes.
costs,
Yes.
as it is,
Yes.
right?
Then saving a lot of risk too.
Right, right, and shipping it, and this and that, yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say would be the biggest risk in building in something like this versus the traditional way of building?
Of course, you have to purchase the materials right away, but that's a good thing because I think it's a good thing because the transaction will be simpler. Yeah. In terms of risk, what could be more risky? Let me think about that.
Well, off the top of my head, you're relying on one supplier versus multiple suppliers, right? So you're really relying on, homecube or whoever, right? So like,
Oh, okay.
you don't have,
I get it. I get it. We're open to give out our patents to production.
Oh, really?
Others, yeah, yeah. We're just jump starting the parts thinking, but we don't need to be the production of everything.
You're focusing on more of the ecosystem,
Open source, yes.
right?
Like example, now if you buy a house from our showroom, the parts is in AI. You can search the database, and if you want to replace the parts, you can go directly to the source.
Right,
Yes.
right. So it's open source.
source. Imagine a designer if he's going to introduce a new part in the ecosystem, like a very fancy part. So it's going to change the generative outcomes of the AI because of that innovative part.
Right, right. Okay, nice. That's interesting. So how do you intend to monetize from this? If it's open, well, obviously from the parts that you're making and building and selling, right? But if you're gonna open source the parts to other people, can you still monetize off of that?
Yes, yeah. AI top ups. We get fees from system integration.
Okay.
Yeah. So if they want to be part of AI, there's a little fee. That's
When you say AI, are you talking about artificial intelligence?
AI.
How does that work?
It starts with data, and then you train the data. Yeah. So the data can be fancy data, have more vectors. If it's like a data that's hard to describe, yeah. If it's plain data like a text, it's more of low level AI, but still AI, but it's still the same training path. So the more vectors you're dealing with, the more difficult the AI is, but it's still the same math.
So you're saying that AI can actually design some of this stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And
So you're relying on AI to design, like, so you mentioned before, you snap a photo of your space.
yeah. So we are looking at the engineering of parts relationships.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you understand engineering, you think about the specs, right? Yeah. The specs of the descriptions and everything. We're using engineering on how the parts interrelate with each other. So there's a pattern of that relationship throughout.
I see.
This goes here. This doesn't go here.
Yeah.
It's like that, and this part goes everywhere.
Okay.
We call that robustness value.
Okay.
So this part is very valuable. It can be used anywhere,
Right.
like that.
So
And there's a
tradition.
useless part also. Useless part, like doesn't matter if you take that out, we can still build it.
So traditionally, was this a big part of the architectural work to
No,
be able to?
no,
No.
no. Systems engineering hasn't been applied in building science.
Okay.
That's my main dissertation.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. So even a scientific alternative, I'm also proposing.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a bit.
Wow.
Yeah. That's my last. This homecube is an application of my science,
I see.
but I'm not selling the science. I'm not the teacher. Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds very different
Oh.
than like some of the stuff I'm seeing nowadays, like prefab homes, right? Like things are
Yeah.
shipped to you
Yes.
kind of prefabricated as pre-built. I've seen a lot of like on social media 3D printing of homes,
Yes.
which is pretty fascinating because they're building entire concrete walls with these 3D printers and things like that. But this is very different.
Yeah. It's just democratizing that. It's like
Yeah.
having more prefab sweatshops around
Right.
instead of one big one. So there's buy a 3D printer and just print a knob.
Right.
You know,
Right.
yeah. Then you're part of that already.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
And I can just do nothing but windows or
yes,
cabinets or
yes,
whatever,
yes. It can
right?
be your design.
Right.
Yeah. It can be your brand.
Right.
Yeah.
Then you really need to pull together a big
Yes.
ecosystem.
Yes. It's in Web3.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing blockchain. So it's faster. The network effects can react faster.
So how will blockchain and how will that verification work in this? Why do you need to put it on a blockchain?
So I think it's faster to do it in a blockchain because we're building an API that can read sol scan. We just have to build the metadata that goes in there, and then it's easier to draw it out if it's just recorded. And it also adds transparency. It's there, like it adds trust also.
But I thought blockchain was mostly to really kind of verify and validate, say, a transaction
Yeah.
or, you know,
Yeah.
to even decentralize a function, right?
It's about the metadata that you put there.
Uh-huh.
It can be a normal the rudimentary data in the blockchain or metadata that's attached in the main legacy software that you use. So it depends how you use the blockchain. You attach that the signal there.
So I'm not understanding how the metadata works and how
It's just like a back end how you restore how you store fancy data. Just put it in the blockchain so it can be read. When it's in the blockchain, it can be verified easier.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's collectively posted there.
All right.
Yeah, it's just opening the back end through community.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
So how far are you with this project?
I'm a bit 50%.
Really?
A bit far, yes. Because at the beginning I thought it was near.
Yeah.
But it's still far.
It's always
As
takes
a-
longer, yeah.
So I decided to make houses first.
Uh-huh.
And introduce the parts ecosystem through in the ground.
Right.
Yeah.
How many houses have you built with this technology?
Yeah. Just one mock-up. We just opened their store this Monday.
Okay.
Yeah. So hoping to get orders. Yeah.
Okay. And I don't know if this is going to be related to what you're doing. This seems more kind of more on the higher tech, more higher end stuff, right? But like recently, I've been hearing a lot about this Piggybic mandate. And so Piggybic has a mandate for the government to build X number of socialized housing, partially funded by Piggybic or subsidized by Piggybic. A lot of developers have not jumped on it yet. In fact, I've been hearing a lot of foreigners trying to get into that because they see the opportunity to build it at scale. But for whatever reason, the developers have not gone into that type of, the major developers haven't really massively gone into the socialized or the low end housing. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Do you know why that is?
But eBig is, I think, it's the government call this strategy to deliver that housing to the lower income bracket, right?
Right.
Yeah. So there are lots of technologies that they can choose from, right? But I think they're still stuck with cement and steel.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it's very hard to introduce this new thing to government. So I'm going through the market.
So they
Yeah,
wouldn't approve something different like this.
maybe not.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it'd
yeah.
be like the
At least
standard.
at the beginning, like
Right.
of course, do you remember when the LTO was adamant on electric vehicles just 5 years ago?
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Maybe 5 to 7 years ago. Now it's
Imagine.
everywhere, right?
Right.
So it's even blockchain was the government was adamant 3 years ago, right? Now that Trump's here, it's gonna be more.
Right.
So it's like that. It's, technology has a way of creeping in
Right.
slowly but surely.
Right.
Yeah.
In the States for lower income housing, we have like mobile homes. Like mobile home parks are big in the States. Manufactured homes, pretty much basically manufactured homes put on the trailer, delivered to the lot, placed on the lot. You just hook up the utilities, the electric, the water, the sewage, just simple hookup, right? And that's kind of like the form of like low income socialized housing. It's probably one of the cheapest ways.
Trailer
Here,
parks.
yeah, trailer parks. Here, not so much. Nothing like that.
I think it's still pricey here.
Right.
It's a car,
Right.
right? You might.
Typhoons have something to do with that,
I don't know why mobile homes didn't pick up here. It's a good question.
or manufactured homes.
Yeah, there are some manufactured homes,
There are.
some but they're plug and play,
Uh-huh.
like just a few, five designs.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I know I know some people who've done like containers. They're
containers.
taking
Yeah,
containers, cut out the
yeah,
house and
yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah. I'm not a fan of crane, so
Okay.
it cannot reach through because the reason it's lightweight. It can reach to islands.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so
Right.
there's also a reason for shortage that you can't move workers and steel in the islands in across the oceans.
Right.
It's also yeah. You also have off-grid options. You don't need the distribution utility. It can give you electricity and water.
Okay.
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
thought about all those stuff to homes to flourish.
You
Yeah.
know, there's so many islands here. There's 7,000, over 7,000 islands in the Philippines. Actually, I've heard a lot of people, buying the islands for sale. Right? you can
Yeah.
you can buy a small island in the Philippines. It's actually
Yeah.
not that expensive. But how do you get the
Yeah.
the infrastructure, the
Yeah.
utilities there? Right?
Actually, very coincidence. I just finished a boat yesterday. It's a landing craft. It's made of um, carbon fiber Kevlar, the first in the Philippines.
Carbon fiber.
Yeah.
So-
It's very
Oh,
light.
oh, wow.
Yeah, it's 14 meters. It's lightweight and it's sturdy in impact. Because we're used to composites, right?
Yeah.
Homecubes are composites, so might as well do a boat to aid in the home shortage.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
And you build boats too.
Yeah.
That must have been a pretty penny. How big was that boat?
14 meters.
How much is a 14-meter carbon fiber
Oh
boat?
man, I mean, we're selling it around 10 million.
10 million.
Yeah.
Wow,
It's still cheaper. It's cheaper compared to China.
Is it really?
Yeah, China's
I thought
selling at 12.
I thought China would be like the most efficient.
They don't have this kind of hull. Yeah, so
Really?
it's hard to measure it apples to apples. But if you're gonna measure it to their aluminum, it's cheaper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Wow. So building boats too.
Yeah.
Any interesting boats that you got to send me some videos
Yeah,
or
yeah,
photos of
yeah,
these
yeah,
boats so
yeah.
I can like B-roll on this.
Yeah.
So is that a hobby or what?
No, it's part of the systems engineering thinking and composites. So
Okay.
you can make houses. You can make houses how you make boats.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a little more funding you can make aircrafts. I mean, the same mindset. Yeah.
When you were talking about that, I'm like, well, if you can do that with housing and like create that ecosystem, why not do that with cars, right? Customize your car and like customize it. But yeah, I guess
Cars are more of it's just transportation. Maybe it's not my
Right.
it's not my passion. It's more of the built environment,
Right.
and I just do boats because of the built environment context. Without built environment context, I won't do boats.
okay,
Right? It's just more of the home shortage story.
okay. So what in this HomeCube business, what is the challenge for you to kind of grow this to your vision? It sounds like you're still pretty early
Yes.
in this.
Yeah.
And I can see how challenging it might be to like package this and
Yeah.
make this digestible for
Yeah.
people.
I think
at the stage.
it's gonna be easier now because I'm not asking them to sign up right? It's just already a house that can be bought and retail.
Right.
So that's a good thing. Then I can introduce the digital versions of that later on, and then the ecosystem. As I build the ecosystem slowly. So yeah, that's why I began. That's why we have a showroom.
Okay. Where's your showroom, by the way?
It's in JP Rizal, second floor,
Okay.
Antipolo Street.
So if somebody wants to kind of take a look at what you're doing at HomeCube and they want to,
Yeah,
where would they go to find out about
yeah.
this?
The address is
Who do they contact?
Sorry.
Who do they contact? Is there a website?
Oh, yeah. Peb. www.peb.homecube.com.
Okay.
They can also talk to the AI.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because the pricing is there.
Okay.
It's SRP also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So if you want to check this out, go to pep.homecube.com. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I didn't even look at it yet. Well, no, I did look at your website, but I didn't see that part. I was actually, honestly, I had a hard time digesting, like me sitting here and talking to you for an hour. I understand so much more, but trying to understand what you're doing from a social media page, or
Yes, I know.
very challenging.
I know. So there's a marketing theory that you should dumb down things, but I don't believe that. You should educate. You should explain.
Right.
Or they'll be dumber, right? What's the purpose of technology if you can make society a little bit better, right?
Well, that's the thing with marketing.
Right.
If you can't capture someone's, attention within 3 seconds,
but
I know. It's like people just don't have the attention span.
Yeah. So if I can't deserve their attention for 5 minutes, I don't deserve them.
Okay. But you have a challenge too, because you're not just selling to the end user. You're trying to create an ecosystem.
Yeah.
So you are, in a way, it's even more complex than building a marketplace.
Yeah.
It's much more complex.
We have it's powered by a marketplace already.
Okay.
Yeah, it's powered. The ecosystem is a marketplace.
How is it market?
It's P2P.
Okay.
P2P. So
that's an existing marketplace.
Yeah, existing, but
in the Philippines.
In the Philippines, but we haven't opened up it formally. It's a platform.
Okay, so I don't know what P2P is. Can you explain what that is?
Anybody can just trade there.
Okay.
P2P like eBay.
Okay, so I go to this, and if I'm a vendor, I can sell my services, or I can sell my products, or my materials, or whatever, and it's just like exchange of from all these people who are just exchanging goods and services, basically.
And what makes it special, because the products there are tagged we tag variables and attributes in their products that flows in their AI. So when you shop there, when there's an HomeCube tag in the product, it means it's integrated in the house.
Okay.
Yeah. We can tag their products that it means that it's integrated in the house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But we're still not yet there.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still not yet there. Yeah. It's a long project. Of course, we're not doing this for fun, actually. It's more really to serve the backlog. Yeah. The Philippines has a 7 million backlog of houses.
Really?
Yeah. Indonesia also, and Brazil. That's our target. Those three. 7 million each.
Tell me about this backlog. This is interesting. What's this backlog of houses? Is it like, is it based on what the population needs?
It's based on what we can produce the fastest way we can.
Okay.
Based on the material limitations that it provides.
So you mean there is actually 7 million orders of houses right now that they can't build because there's a shortage of supplies?
Yeah. Shortage of how we do things. We only...
Not shortage of supply, but shortage of labor?
Labor.
Yeah. And teams that need.
Yes. Wow. So we can only build 140,000 houses per year, statistically.
Wow.
But I don't know if that can be pushed.
So you're saying the demand is 7 million, or like the demand far outweighs the supply right now.
Yeah. Because of cement and steel. That's the way they do things.
So this is a good segue, because there's some things I really want to ask you now. So there's a lot of talk right now that the condo property market is overvalued, right? And there's many reasons that could be. I've talked about a few of those, but essentially no one knows the bottom line, right? No one knows exactly what the bottom lines are, except for the developers, obviously. Things like builders know kind of. Is there, is there a supply shortage? Because a lot of people say there's a oversupply because there's a lot of empty condominiums here, right, or houses here. Um,
Remember, I heard your podcast before. The reason it's expensive because the rich people didn't want to let go,
right,
right? So it's a synthetic market,
right. So
right?
it's
It's
artificially
artificial,
inflated.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Like there are a lot of people have parked their cash,
Mm-hmm.
and so there's no urgency to sell if there's no one renting it.
But you know why? Since you brought that up, you know why land is expensive?
Why?
Because cement and steel, you're forced to live out there forever. You cannot salvage anything. So land becomes dense.
Hmm.
It's hard to buy. When everything has
You
been
mean there's a shortage of once you build concrete on it,
yes, then the land becomes few and few becomes expensive.
right?
Whereas when you use lightweight parts like ours, and then you can move your parts anywhere, the land becomes the affordability becomes more sustainable. Then you we refrain from that bubble.
Well, I mean, it's just when you build on a land, you don't have to pour a foundation on the entire land, right? It's just where the lot is sitting, correct? Or is it here in the Philippines? You pretty much have to make the whole land concrete, especially in the
Yeah.
metro, right?
Yeah.
So you're just talking about the metro.
Well, the building code I think is consistent anywhere here. So you put foundations anywhere, but the point is you cannot bring it with you, and then you can't salvage anything, and then you're forced to live out there and wait for a. And then what about the others that couldn't jump in
Right.
that price range?
Right.
They become I don't know.
Yeah.
They call that yeah.
The one thing I noticed about land here, land never goes down here.
Good for the landowner.
Right.
The landowners happy when inflation hits.
Of course,
Yeah.
anybody in real estate likes.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in real estate, inflation is on your side.
So I have to choose which ones I will serve. I'll
Right.
have to serve the affordability. I have to serve the ones who need first.
So who do you choose to serve?
The ones that are short of houses. The ones who want to build fast.
Right.
Yeah, and also the quality should be there because the government's doing mass housing, which looks the same.
Right.
So ours is mass complexity, but of course, I'm not saying we're competing with the government. I'm just saying that the product is so much better because it's private.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Hmm.
The shortage of land. But here's the thing: even if they're building with that technology that you have, you still have to pour the foundation.
Our foundation is legalized.
How's that?
We have a system that's
How do you rip it off? Like if you put the foundation in, you can take it out.
yeah, I can take it out.
How? This is a heavy concrete.
I
right?
show you the design. It's call it a pizza. It's just many layers there.
Okay, try to explain it to us here so that we understand. Because we want to follow you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's
So
hard.
it's called a footing. So I think I'm not sure if it has 8 layers. So we just pile it together. Then you can put sand just to fit it. But we have helicopiles before that. The helicopiles depends on how soft your land is. So we already factored the ranges of softness here. You need 2 or 4 helicals, depends on the structure, how high it is, and where it's located, if it's damp or hard soil.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let me try to understand. So depending on the softness of the soil, you need these X number of layers.
Yeah. No,
Right,
the
depending
helica
on how
only.
high
The
you-
helica only. Just
What's a helica?
like a spinal, like a spiral support. Spiral.
So it's sort of like a drill that goes down to kind
No,
of
it doesn't-
support the foundation, or what?
It's a support, steel support that prevents you from sinking further.
Okay.
It's a pile. It's called a helica because it looks like a helica.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry for describing using my fingers.
And then from this one thing that goes, it's like a stake in the ground, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then from there you build layers.
Oh yeah, we have a footing set up because our footing is this huge, but it's heavy, so we divide it into many layers so that you can just ergonomically just slot it in.
Okay.
Yeah. So you just have to do layout of the house and that you're sure it's going to be there.
Where if you didn't have that, you'd be piling into the ground.
You're gonna go to put rebar.
Right.
You're going to dig bigger hole.
Right.
Yeah. So of course, it takes lots of engineering to find a real rebar that fits your house.
Right.
Because all the foundations here are engineered to your house only.
Right.
So that's already prolonged. That's already time waste,
Right.
process waste.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So everything here is concocted the way it is. That's why sometimes design takes 1 year.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here it's fast.
But it sounds like this is something for like if you're building tall, right? But if you're building a 1-story house
Yeah.
or 2-story
Yeah.
house, you'd still have to do this.
Yes, yeah. Up to three. Up
Okay.
to three.
Okay.
Yeah. I think at 3 we need to add helicas.
Okay.
That's it.
But under 3, you don't.
Under 3 story, more than 3 stories.
Yeah.
No.
No. So if it's a small 1-story house, you can basically pick up this house. You should supposed to be able to pick up this house and then pull off the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Okay.
Pick up the house. What do you mean?
Like, I mean, you wanted to be able to legalize it, right? So
Yeah.
you can take it apart.
Oh yeah. Of course, you do one post at a time, right? And then once that's done, you do the columns and you do the beams. Yeah, put it together. Yeah.
Well, is that the idea? Should be able to move this house too?
No. Oh, okay. So after like when you want to move it, just dig it out, then put it in your pickup, just wash it,
take it apart.
Yes.
Put it.
Yes.
It's like just pieces that you can throw.
Yes.
You throw together and you put together again.
Yes. Our heaviest part is only 200 pounds.
Oh wow.
It's only by 2 people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting. I got to come out and do a video of this sometime.
Yeah, okay.
Like, we're gonna actually see this.
Yeah. It's
hard. Yeah. So we'll have to do that.
Yeah.
Do you have a lot of experience investing in real estate too, as an investor?
Yeah. I bought a cove in Cagbalete. That's 1 hour from Balisin.
Okay.
By a slow boat.
Okay.
Yeah. It's as far as personal investment is concerned.
So this is a boat.
No, a cove.
Cove, okay, so like a resort.
Yeah.
So this is a nice. How big is this cove?
Almost 4 hectares.
Wow.
You know, Cagbalete is the nearest white sand you can go without riding a plane.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How far is that from here?
Almost 4 hours. You go to Maoban Port.
Oh, wow. Okay, so 4 hours on a boat.
No, on a car.
In a car.
Yeah. And then just when you go to the Maoban Port,
Luzon, though.
Luzon. You go to Maoban Port, you can already see the island.
Okay.
So
it's just the east side, west side?
East.
East side.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not so. But Balisin is there. That's the only popular place on the east side.
But Balasin is out in the island, right?
Yeah, this is also in the island.
This is also out in the island.
Yeah, it's Cagbalete and then Balisin.
You can't take a car there. You have to take a car and then a ferry.
Yes, yeah. You can chopper it.
Yeah,
of course you can chopper it.
Is that what you're gonna do?
Well, maybe not me. Maybe the customers.
Yeah. What are you gonna do with this 4-hectare cove? I'm so curious. Is it gonna be the next Balasin? Is it gonna be private only, like your friends only?
My wife has ideas on make it a farm, sustainable living village.
Really?
Yeah. So, but there's no concrete plans yet.
Okay. Well, hopefully I get the invite. That's cool.
Maybe invite to buy.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think I can afford it. So you're gonna build 4-hectare cove, like white sand beaches. Are you planning to make money on it, or just kind of keep it for
I don't know yet.
Yeah. This will be a fun project, huh? That's like stuff that we dream about doing here.
Well, of course, who doesn't like the beach? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Forget everything. Just except the beach.
Right. Get a helicopter. I was at Carlos. Well, you guys, your family thing in Cavite. That's your
Alfonso.
Family. Yeah. Right. It's the funny thing about that place is it's architectural marvel, right? It's a very interesting looking building, big, but it's a restaurant. Right. And so there's it's not that big of a restaurant. And then you're sitting there and you're looking out and I think there's 7 helicopter pads.
5, I think. 5. But
or something
it's always full. with the helicopters.
Yes. So I'm like seeing these helicopters just, I was like, wow, what a flex, right? You come in and you land with your helicopter on this place and everyone's just watching you eat. And what kind of helicopter does he have? What kind of helicopter does he have? Everyone's just having their lunch there. So it's kind of like so people used to always go up to Tagaytay for Antonio's.
Mhm.
So this is going to be like the supreme high end Antonio's.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. So you have a helicopter?
No,
No.
no. But I'll have a yacht soon.
A yacht?
Yeah, because that's my next project.
Are you building it?
Yeah.
So is it going to be carbon fiber or just
Carbon fiber top and aluminum hull.
how
Yeah.
big is this going to be?
14 meters.
14 meters.
Yeah.
Wow, that's huge.
Then the first surface drive in the Philippines.
Where are you going to take it?
Maybe in El Nido.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. No further than that. Just kind of like.
Just yeah. But it's a business. It's not my personal yacht. It's a
really?
business. Yeah.
So it's going to take people back and forth.
No,
Or just
yeah, you can order.
Okay.
Made to order.
So it's like a private
Yeah.
yacht that you could rent out
Yeah.
and have a driver take
Yeah.
you. A
Yeah. But it's going to be export specs, and you can order 6
Okay.
months. All my orders are 6 months turnover. Oh,
Okay.
cycle.
And how much does one of these boats cost?
No, I don't have a price yet, but
No.
it's going to be
It's going to be
it's
expensive.
going to be a single digit with an M.
Nice. Single digit amp. 9 million. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that doesn't sound too bad compared to.
No, single digit M's with the foreign currency.
Oh, with
Yeah.
the US dollars. Okay. I was like, pesos. That's pretty cheap, actually. Wow, that's cool, man. You're working on some really fun projects. Huh? That's cool. It's great that you can you have the the support, the infrastructure, the team to be able to put all this together. How big is your team?
So I have around 15 full time, and my part time bench is huge. Then I have a factory also. But it's a cloud culture.
Okay.
Since Corona, we got comfortable with the cloud.
Okay, so everyone works remotely then.
Yeah, sorry,
So that means everyone kind of works remotely.
remotely. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's normally my team goes to.
Yeah.
We don't have any offices or anything like
Yeah,
that.
it's more efficient if you know how to do the tools.
Yeah.
It's more efficient actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you work a lot? Sounds like you do.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Even in the toilet I work because your mind's there.
Right. At one point, you became a devout Christian, right? Was that recent?
5 years.
5 years.
Yes.
Okay.
I had a dream with the Lord, and He brought me to the right church.
Uh-huh.
I have a church where God speaks.
Okay.
Yeah, you should try it. It's here. It's in
It's called
Church of God, Jesus Christ International.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's in BGC.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm there 4 times a week.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I have not.
Have you heard of prophecy?
No.
It's when God talks to you.
Well, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so-
That. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you had a prophecy.
So it's a build. Yes. I had a prophecy. It's a build-up of experiences.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and when the Lord gives you a dream, you know it's from Him.
Uh-huh.
And it's very hard to convince people because it's only you can have that kind of experience inside.
Right.
I wish you can have that experience.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to ask, what kind of advice do you have for 2 parts? Filipino people who want to invest in real estate in the Philippines, and then people who want to build, want to develop in the Philippines.
Like a house.
Could be resorts, hotel, house, whatever. Right. Do you have any advice for these people?
Well, it depends how much capital you've got. So you have, right.
Part.
So if you want to do small, and you're not hurried to, it depends on your age also.
Yeah,
You know,
okay.
if you're like this big hot shots that have like big billions to spend, you're gonna go with the prime areas. But if you have like time with you, go for the long haul. You know, we have a lot of beaches that are cheap still. Beach lots, so cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what the kasambahay is? Kasambahay? Our house help buys lots for 50,000 pesos in their area.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
on the beach.
Yes,
Beachfront.
Yes.
That's the thing. When I first came here, I heard about beachfront lots, like per square meter, like literally 200 or 300 pesos. Like that's literally like $5.
Yeah.
And like, but I can't. I'm a foreigner. I can't own beachfront. I can't own land, right? Outright. So, so you think, okay, if you're coming to the Philippines, land is still cheap.
You should marry one here.
That's a comment. Everyone's at home. Oh, easy. Just get married. Yeah, I'm gonna marry somebody just to buy a property. That's everyone's solution. Just get married. Yeah. Well, and more, I'm more encouraged to like, okay, that's finally, I'm gonna get married because that's my benefit. I can finally buy land here.
But I think you can lease for 25 years
True.
the land, lots of cheap leases, and then you can make a house up to 25% of your farm.
Oh,
You don't need to be, it doesn't need to be residential.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I do build my house and resort, I'm going to come to you and you're going to help me figure out how I can democratize this and make this much more flexible and much more affordable, maybe. Hopefully. That's how yeah. This will be interesting, especially if I'm going to build like, look, if I'm going to go buy a far away beachfront lot, right? It's 2-3 hours away. It's far from the major cities. There's not much infrastructure. Fuck, it makes sense to test out like products like this.
Yes, and then there's a cheap internet also by Elon Musk. Right?
Yeah.
You just work from home there.
Right. You have Starlink now.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And then now you have solar power.
Yes.
Right. And now you just need to desalinize your water or there's enough water. There's enough rainwater.
Rainwater.
In Hawaii, we have like in the big islands, we have entrapments of water and that's how we get our water.
Yes.
Right. So yeah, you can do everything.
Yes. And then you can even Airbnb in it.
Right.
That if it has a good view.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I always thought about buying land here and doing like the glamping thing, but everyone thinks about that. And here, you don't need as much permission to do that, right? What about people who want to develop here? People who want to build here, like because that's an area that I'm not very. I don't have a lot of experience, but it always makes me nervous because obviously you have to acquire the land, you gotta get the entitlements, you gotta go through the process of that.
So you have two choices: to lease it out or to condominiumize it. You have two choices. It's up to you to. Our family more of the, again, not so, we just hold it to lease it out, for the longer term. But there are families who want to condominiumize it and they have lots of buildings, but they don't own anything. But all of them are past project.
Right.
Yeah.
I got a question for you though. You know how you can condominiumize a building, right? And the way they do that is they take they turn it into a corporation. So let's say you have 100 units. So 40 of the units should be foreign owned.
Yes.
Right. 60 of the units is local owned. And so that fits into the 60-40 rule of corporate ownership. You can own land through a 60-40 corporate ownership.
Yes.
Now, why can't you take a big plot of land and build many, like condominiumize it, but you don't build up. You build horizontally. And each parcel of land is divided into each units. And let's say you build horizontally house and lots, 100 house and lots units. Can you still split it up by that same 60-40 law?
I think it's going to be a townhouse.
Right.
Yeah, but that can arguably be still a condo. We did something on that on a smaller project.
So as long as you just own the building, but you don't own the land. Right. So let's say cause in a condominium, the building, you could still own the land, but you own a percentage of the land.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're a foreigner, you own a percentage of the land, like 40% of the land. Could it be done the same way?
I think so. I think the lawyer will argue that way. It's just the same and just put it down.
Right.
But, right?
Yeah.
It's a big building, just put it down. It's the same. Right. Yeah. You can argue that way. Yeah. I think so. It can be done.
But it's weird because when the pandemic hit, Rockwell went out to New Valley and and they built house and lot, but yet foreigners can't necessarily buy a lot. So why haven't they figured that out?
Oh, because talking about land,
Yes.
the ones in New Valley, they have it's all pure land. They're not building on it's all
okay.
pure land.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't put houses.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So if someone did that project, they could condominiumize
Yeah.
house and lots and sell to foreigners.
It won't be a house and lot. It would be a duplex or a mixed use look, not really single detached lots. It would be like a low rise building.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
a low rise condominium.
Right. And then the lot that you're on is shared by the whole condominium.
Yes, it's just
That
a bigger.
could be possible.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's just a midget building.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. A bigger lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. I learned something today. Okay, JP, thank you so much. That was awesome. I hope we can do more of these talks, actually.
Yeah, I'm glad I survived that.
Yeah. Let's do more of these talks, and I'd love to go visit your site one day.
Yeah, we have a trip coming. Yeah. I'll show you the structure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
JP, thank you. Thank you so much. It was a great interview.
Pleasure.
Okay. Yeah, so if you like this content, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions for us, we'd be happy to answer those questions.